All right, well, that takes us to a couple youngsters on the roster, and we're talking about playing time. We're talking about minutes. Had to do some math. This is a little more complicated than the calculations, so bear with me. Michael Baldissimo and Theo Bair played a total of 1,149 minutes in 2020. It's an average of 50 minutes per game, or 1,700 minutes over a full season. That's the two of them combined. The question is, will these two young Canadians play combined over or under 2,000 minutes in 2021? So that would be 1,000 each if you want to look at it that way, or obviously the split could be different. I think Michael Baldissimo probably likely to play more minutes than Theo Bair, but we don't know. So what do you guys think of that one? Over or under 2,000 minutes combined?
I'll take the over. In the words of the late Herman Cain, I don't have facts to back this up. Um, but, it's just sort of the vibe I get from all the interviews that Schuster and MDS have done, that they see both those guys taking a bit of a step up. So based on that vibe check, I'm going to take the over.
I think, we're going to, I think, have to kind of again set aside any international duty implications here. But just the fact that Baldissimo and Alexandre seem to complement each other so well, I can't imagine in making that signing that there wasn't some thought that they were going to find a way to play them together and give Baldissimo those regular minutes. So maybe this is just me being optimistic because that's what I want to see happen. But I do think taking more than 2,000 seems like a pretty safe bet. Plus, Theo Bair, really, it's hard to see him over the course of a full season not getting significantly more minutes than he got last season, especially with Freddie Montero gone. There are more opportunities to see the game, at least in a late sub situation. So I'd take the over as well.
I think it all comes down to whether the Canada team qualifies for the Olympics or not. Because if they do, then Bair and Baldissimo are gone, right? But let's say in a less than ideal world they don't. I could see them both definitely getting over that minute mark. Definitely, Bair is going to be one to fighting for a spot. Now with Egbo in the cards as well, and Baldissimo has been playing well. He played well in the game against El Salvador in Olympic qualifiers as well. So I think there's definitely a place in this Whitecaps team for them if the Olympics aren't a thing.
What you just said at the very end there, Luis, whether or not there's a place for him in the team is always going to be a tricky thing for me to comprehend with regards to Marc Dos Santos, because the guy just doesn't seem to like playing his younger players. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, he'll give some a chance, but not all of them. So I'm always super skeptical when it comes to trying to understand whether or not he wants to play his younger players. It's a weird thing. So for me, I actually feel like they're gonna fall less than 2,000 combined minutes. My real question, I think, is going to be between the two of them, who ends up getting more, because or what that ratio is going to be. Because I'd like to see it be 50-50, or even Baldissimo somehow getting more minutes than Bair, but that I don't see happening. I feel like somehow Bair's going to end up with more minutes. We're going to want to see Baldissimo on the field more, and somehow I'm just expecting to be disappointed. I think Baldy is not going to get on the field as much as I think he deserves, and as a result, they're going to stay under that 2,000 benchmark that we've set.
Ian, I'm really, really, really hoping that you're wrong. That would be very disappointing if that ends up being the case. So
I would love it too. Yeah.
My predictions are kind of predicated on the fact that they get bounced in the semifinals at this Olympic tournament, because obviously that could change things pretty significantly. But I'm almost taking my analysis in a bit of a different direction here, so bear with me. Let's talk Russell Teibert. Last two seasons, started 26 matches in 2019, 2,202 minutes. 2020 started 19 matches, 1,585 minutes. So I'm looking at those numbers. I don't want to see Russell Teibert getting that kind of playing time in 2021. I want those minutes headed straight to Michael Baldissimo. For that alone, You just look at that comparison, transfer those minutes on over, smash the over on this one, provided they're not at the Olympics in the summer. Baldy's got to play like 1,500 minutes this year at least. I mean, for anyone who, this is going to come out a little bit later, so it's maybe not super, hot take recent, but Baldy looked awesome in the first match of the Olympic qualifying tournament. I don't know how this guy is an MLS starter already. So yeah, hook in the IV, take those minutes straight from Russell Tybert and give them to Michael Baldissimo.
Well, and the things that Baldissimo doesn't do as well, we now have a fit Bikel, hopefully, for most all of the season, and that'll take a little bit of the burden off in terms of, he's good at getting stuck in tackles, but I think we saw last year defensive positioning was not his strong suit, and he's learning that still. So he'll have more cover, and the youthful mistakes will hopefully not stick in MBS's mind quite so much. Also, I'm glad that Sam mentioned Russell Tybert's minutes, because I think that's a time-honored tradition of these roundtables that we have a debate over how much playing time Rusty's going to get. So I'm glad that lives on.
I was going to say we could do our own version of that viral tweet. I'd like to see old Rusty Tybert get out of this one. Russell Tybert wriggles out of it easily. Well, nevertheless, like he's like Rachel Gould, man. You write him off and he just keeps coming back. I can't see. He's got to be like number 5 on the center mid depth chart now.
Well, but here's the thing: he's going to be a starter on opening day, given the visa issues, given guys that are going to be away or like short in fitness. Rusty's going to start on opening day for sure. You just know it.
Okay, maybe, but surely this is the year.
You're right, though. He is like 5th on the depth chart when they have everyone.
This is the last year of him being like a regular contributor. Late game, close it out, sure. But surely this is the last year of like Russell Tybert, the regular starter.
Okay, well, that brings us to our second to last over under, and this is the last kind of player or specifically footballing related question, and that's about the man that everyone's been talking about, the man who is not yet named, the attacking midfielder, the number 10, and specifically how much money the Whitecaps are going to spend on said number 10. Will it be over or under? And I struggled with setting a line on this one because I really don't know exactly where to go, but over or under $6.5 million on this number 10.
Well, if they sign a player whose contract expires in the summer, it might be, in terms of transfer fees, it might be 0. What was the number again? Sorry.
$6.5 million.
6.5. Okay. I was focusing too much on getting that number.
And I guess that would be USD because that's the currency that these deals are done in MLS.
I guess I'll say over. Why not? They've been in on some pretty impressive players, but I'm not gonna be one of those people who's like, oh, they're just putting these names out there to make it look like they're doing something. I think if you were doing that, you would not pick the players whose names have come out. But at the same time, like, I understand why those people feel that way, because without like tangible results, those targets don't mean much. But I don't know. I just don't know. My world is totally untethered from anything right now. Trying to figure out who this DP number 10 will be, when he's going to come. Yeah. Are we swearing on this? Fuck it. Why not? Sure, over.
I guess over. That seems like the track record of guys they've been linked to have been value, or have been the transfer fee was rumored. If there was a transfer fee, it was over that amount. So I would take the over. I do feel like we're all going to be disappointed, and they're going to have a transfer market value of slightly under $6.5 million, and we're all going to be like, why did we overpay for this player? No matter what happens, Whitecaps fans will find a way to be disappointed with whomever is signed. I think that is the one truly safe prediction we can make on this.
I gotta disagree, mostly because I can't fathom the club spending a huge amount of money. I don't care how great this player is going to be. This, like, when it comes to bringing in a quality player, I can 100% see them waiting until a contract expires in the summer, because their argument will be, well, we don't want to spend 6 or 7 or 8 million on a guy that we waited until freaking July to bring in. I mean, I know the window closes in May or whenever it is, but the point being is that I can absolutely see management looking at it like, we don't want to overpay on someone when we're only going to use them for half a season. So why not bring in someone who's free? That way we don't have to worry about overpaying or overspending or anything like that. I think that if they don't bring in someone right away, it's definitely not going to be above 6. But generally speaking, I don't think it'd be above 6 anyway. I'm still in that mindset that the management's not going to spend anything. They're going to find a way to pinch pennies and go for the guy whose like stats are way lower, but also like the price is like rock bottom, just because they don't want to put in the extra dollar to bring in someone who's quality.
Traditionally, I would be in agreement, but just seeing the signings that they made so far the offseason, I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic on what the number 10 could be. So I feel 6.5 is a solid minimum, I would say, maybe more, if they're following the trend of how much money they've been spending so far. I think you could definitely see it being over. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it was way under. But personally, I'm going to put it over.
Okay, this is interesting. I'm going to have I guess a bit of an extended answer to this one, and it's an answer in 2 parts. So number 1, are they willing to spend more than $6.5 million on a number 10? I think the answer is yes. They're absolutely willing to do that. They just spent $4.5-ish million on Kyle Alexandre. I don't think that the financial investment is the issue. The second question I'm going to try to answer is, like, do they need to spend over $6.5 million on a player? And I'm going to draw on someone that was brought in as an attacking midfielder to, let's be honest, a squad of a similar quality last year, Nashville. And they brought in Hani Mukhtar, and they only paid $2.97 million for him. Now, that might have been a bit of a market inefficiency. That might have been a bit of a bargain play. But I think if the Whitecaps brought in someone like Mukhtar, I'd be incredibly happy with that. And so I don't think that they necessarily, if the profile's right, especially if he's a guy on the younger side that's a bit underrated, doesn't necessarily have, a massive reputation behind him, I don't think there's the need to spend $6.5 million. But I do think the club is ready and willing to do something like that if a Chiquinho, Otavio, whoever it might be, comes available. So I'm going to say under, because I'm hoping they find one of those value plays, not necessarily because I don't think they're willing to spend that much.